Thanks for waiting and apologies for the delay. So, this is your game. This is a ranked battle in the Großer Kurfürst. Now, the Kurfürst used to be the tier 10 of the German battleship line. It has been rotated out in favor of the Preußen, and now it is kind of like the Moskva, where it's considered a special ship. A lot of players like to use... Hold on. A lot of players like to use a secondary build because the Kurfürst has a mix of 150 and 128mm secondary guns, which means that they can penetrate quite a bit of armor naturally. So that makes the secondaries a very sexy proposition for this particular ship. And I can see by your secondary range of 12.5 kilometer, you are absolutely doing that, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, Kurfürst has two choices for guns, 406s or the 420s. Which are you choosing, sir?
I think I'm using the 420s, the ones that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. We'll probably hear soon enough because the 420s have that Yamato gun sound. The 406s...
Oh yeah, I think I am using 420s then because I like that sound.
Okay.
Hover over the shells, it should tell you the caliber.
You're right. 420. There it is. Now, the Kurfürst also has a pretty decent to good armor scheme, so she's really good for brawling. As mentioned by Driftin, the gun angles are pretty crap. It's really difficult to get a good broadside angle with the ship. As you can see here, I'm right about... That's right about where you can see that second turret. So that's the firing angle looking over your shoulder toward the rear. And as far as from the front, if I remember right, that angle is even more open. It's almost like this. So if you want to get all your turrets in, you're forced to show an awful lot of side, and you're better off trying to kite away when you're getting those gun angles in, as Coughlin is mentioning.
I also don't generally try to go for like a full broadside unless I'm actively turning or
Okay.
I see a juicy target off to my side.
So, like I said, we can't see your build, we can't see the replay render, but what we can do is we can talk through your build, and you said you have the standard secondary setup, right?
Right. Yes, I believe so. I have to launch the game now for sure, but I do know I'm going for secondaries.
Okay. Now, this is a ranked battle. I'm guessing this is ranked Bronze League, because it didn't just reset.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually left the Bronze League.
Okay.
I don't do a whole lot of ranked.
And this is Arms Race on top of ranked, so even more fun. 3 battleships.
I kind of like arms race, especially when I'm in freezing and my team gets all the reload boosters.
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice. So 3 battleships, 2 cruisers, 1 destroyer. They've got a Kleber, and you've got a Kaba. I don't think, no, I can't use the Alta Sea consumables, but between the two of them, they're kind of an even match. Cruiser-wise, you've got a Yoshino Des Moines, they've got Pedro and Hinden. I would say that's also a pretty even matchup. Yamato Kurfürst Mech, Yamato Kurfürst St. Vincent. I would hand it to their battleships a slight advantage.
Basically, no one has a destroyer. So, looks like it's everyone group up, blob, and then you just got a mass fleet-on-fleet action.
Now, if this was domination, I would say I would love to see somebody going the other direction, right? But because this is arms race, SAT is exactly right. Blob up, because what matters is getting the kills. Doesn't matter which flank it's on, but you gotta get ships out, and then of course when that central spot opens up, you gotta get in there. All right. I would put secondaries on the Kleber. There you go. He's out of range right now, but that might change. I like the choice of Hindenburg. And you can see just how far back those rear turrets are from having that angle. 46 degrees. Now, that St. Vincent's slowing down. I don't think you're going to hit him.
I honestly would have not bothered with St. Vincent. I would have
Yeah.
kept looking at the two
Hinden.
cruisers.
Yep.
It actually
Hinden or
gave up
Pedro.
a good shot. It gave up a good shot on the Petro.
Yep. Now these guys are just going to kind of try to farm you for a bit, which is fine. That's what you'd expect.
Yep, and you're also struggling with forward fire angles, because we mentioned this before. GK forward fire angles, like crap.
Yeah, you might have been better suited to turn and kite away position. I know you're going to take a lot of hits in the process, but you're in a much better position for the long duration fight.
Yeah. Hindi is just gonna farm you out here.
Yep. Luckily for you, their battleships are kind of getting within your range. You might consider putting Hydro on in case the St. Vincent uses funny torque. What's his torque range? 10, yeah. Now you're being...
Do you pop my Hydro?
Okay. You're being drawn closer, which I don't like seeing.
Oh, and with secondaries, they are located on the side. They can't fire full forward. So now your secondaries do nothing against Yamato.
Yep. Yep. You had a good opportunity with that island to disengage, and you didn't take it. If you turned the other way, you could have used the island to get into that kite away position and be better angled and also prepared to run if you need to. But now, you're stuck. You're stuck sitting here taking it all, because everybody's going to focus you because you're the closest. And the Yamato, wisely on your team, is on the other side.
Yeah, you may be tanky, but that's 4 or 5 ships you're losing a lot of HP to. And that's a lot of it's for free, too.
Yes, exactly. Now, SAT, I want to mention a minute ago, said the Hindenburg is just going to farm you out. You have to remember that the Hindenburg is your biggest threat cruiser-wise because he will penetrate 50 millimeters of armor plating with his 203s because they have 1/4 HE pen. So all of your armor is 50 millimeters on your deck, other than, of course, your turrets. So, yeah. You don't want to give that Hindenburg a good shot. Shoot the Kleber here. You can get all your guns on him. There you go.
You can hit him at 7. That opportunity is literally once a match.
Yes.
So, good thing you took advantage of it.
Hindenburg is a good ship. In ranked, she's just a farming ship, and all she does is, sit in the backfield and farm. I've done that before. I consider it mindless gameplay, which sometimes is nice, because you don't have to think too much. But in terms of winning the game, because the cruiser tip like that plays so far out, it's harder to, have a bigger influence on the game.
Yeah, Hindenburg does not have any game-changing ability. She has good firepower, but nothing like a radar to get out destroyers.
Right. Your Yoshino, by the way, is the same thing, but if you look, your Yoshino is really aggressive, really close, and broadside to the Yamato St. Vincent, so he's probably not going to last that much longer. I do want to also mention something huge, I think, for your life right here. It's the fact that the St. Vincent stopped and backed up. If he kept going, you'd be in a lot of trouble. So...
Yeah. But the enemy team is just misplaying this one so badly.
They're afraid to engage right now.
Their Kurfurst basically exploded. Their Hindenburg is not even playing the game anymore. Like, if he was farming you from like 16, 17 kilometers, there's nothing you can do. You would have been brought down to 30k easily by now.
Yep. I'm not sure what that Hindenburg's trying to do. But hey.
As Yamato, yeah, he shot himself in the foot by getting closer. Like, you don't want to do that against the enemy blob. And Yamato is like one of the worst battleships at close range.
And on top of that, he's got a rock behind him, so he can't move anymore. Hey, Puddin'.
In other words, this is basically classic bronze gameplay.
Yep. Alright, don't worry about the Hindenburg. The Hindenburg is clearly playing to save a star, and not even doing well at that. So, What I mean by that is, he's not important. St. Vincent or Petro then become your primary threats. And I might actually stop here. There's no... Too late. There was no reason to get out and be spotted until you knew the St. Vincent was going to go past this island. Because what that does is it allows you to focus on the Petro or the Hindenburg. You're isolating your opponents.
You don't want to take a 40k salvo for free. So
If the St. Vincent kept backing up, that would exactly happen to you. Heal time.
Yamato misplayed. Kurfurst just burned down without really doing anything.
Yep.
Both of them, yeah, that's literally half their HP gone.
Yep.
Half the team's HP gone.
Now, don't worry about the St. Vincent. He's on the other side of the island. You already told chat, your team, that you don't have a shot on him. So, he's not a threat. That means it's the Petra or it's the Hindenburg. And fortunately for you, the Hindenburg says, alright, come shoot me now.
Yep. I would have ignored Petro as well.
Oh,
Once
yeah.
he, yeah, his AP does nothing to you bow on, so I would have not cared. So good decision.
Hindenburg switches to AP. He's doing pretty good damage, so you should try to angle to him. And look at that better... Look how much better your firing arc is from backwards down. That's huge.
And I just destroyed 12 of those torpedoes on that side.
I saw that too, which means you don't have to worry about that. I don't like your DCPing one fire though.
Yeah.
The other
I don't
thing is
see why the team here.
the other thing is you don't need to stop here and turn like this. You're stopping and turning in. You're taking more damage than you need to. And then you're also now showing side to the Petro, which means he could farm you too. So
Good
I
thing
think
he ran away.
yeah, well, you know, it was still enough for this to happen. Yay, Deathpick. I would say
Just dodge.
just dodge. I would say in that last part, Rob, if you had kept moving forward and turning away from the Hindenburg, you knew he was dead, either to your secondaries or your next salvo, even if it was one turret. So what I'm getting at is you didn't need to slow and turn in, because you didn't need to get all your front turrets to bear. Right? Oh, also obligatory, oh my god, they killed Rob!
I also think, instead of using your front guns, just ignore them. Angle to
Yes.
the Petro, let your
Yes.
secondaries work on the Hindi, and turn into the island.
That's
Because
exactly...
you saw where that Petro ended up, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he ended up behind the island. You can use that against him. He can't shoot through islands, and then you fight a 1v1 against Hindi. You don't have
Right.
your front guns, but you have like a million secondaries.
Right, exactly. Rob, I'm trying to be a little artsy with your death pick because, you know, we can. That's kind of fun. Yes, SAT?
Yeah. But basically, instead of having to fight 2v1, you would have just fought 1v1, so you would have definitely won that.
So, I'm going to use the feature that we have now. I'm going to replay this replay and get us to that exact spot and try to explain what we're talking about, okay? It is absolutely a good game for you. You are a big reason why you won. The enemy team not knowing what to do about you in the middle is another reason that you won, frankly.
Yeah. It's a good game, but you can always improve.
Yeah.
Okay, so for some odd reason, we're not seeing anything?
Do we have to do the classic kill the replay and
I think so.
Let's go. That sucks.
It is unfortunate. Because now I have to wait for this client. There we go. Wargaming Center, whatever it's called. WGC. If you cancel out of a replay, it takes a little bit of time before it updates and says, oh, you're done with your replay. So
Well, if you go into your task manager and find the World of Warships thing that shows up, it's a bit of work though.
you can do
Well,
that,
yeah,
but WGC still doesn't recognize that the game is closed. It takes a few seconds because it's basically the way it's programmed is it's like checking to see if the game is running every 30 seconds to a minute or something. There's a lot to learn in this game.
Yeah, the first part, you kind of tunnel vision on the battleships. You should have looked at the cruisers. That you can get rid of immediately.
Yep.
And for that Petro, you could have actually punished him during the tournament. That or Hindenburg. I would say that would be your first notable misplay.
Right. And you had the opportunity to get behind the island. The ironic thing this game, Rob, is I think the fact that you didn't get behind the island is what got you the win. Because you see the St. Vincent running behind the island to get around you, and then stopping because the Yamato's there. The Kleber tries to go and YOLO charge the Yamato, but he's turning away, and you happen to be right there to take him down. The Yamato pushes in thinking he's going to try to get, I don't know what, on you, ends up getting himself killed. So, the ironic thing here is the right thing to do is not the thing that gets you the win. It's you did the wrong thing here. You know what I mean? It's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I think if you just beached behind that island, you would have still just nuked the Clever anyways. I don't know how much that would have changed.
That's true, but it depends. If he made a full turn out, like I would think he would, to try to get his guns south, he would absolutely not be in a position to do that to the Kleber right there.
He actually didn't do most of the damage. That was
No.
the Yamato.
Because he took too long to do that, but yes.
Yeah. The finishing... So Yamato just left him with... He just needed to get 3 shots in. So even if he only had his back guns, his secondaries could have finished him off. Because Kleber was just intent on throwing away his star.
Absolutely, but the point I'm making is if Rob was a little bit more... Like, if he recognized the Kleber earlier and not worried about the St. Vincent, he would have gotten... He probably would have gotten more damage in before the Yamato even fired. And then the Yamato would have the kill, but it is what it is. Alright, let's get to... Let's get to the part where you die, again.
The part where they killed Rob.
That's right, the best part of the replay. Okay. Alright, so you took his torpedo tubes out there. It's a perma.
Yep.
Right here, you're showing a lot of side. You are turning, though.
You are showing both broadside to Petro and Hindenburg.
Well, right now he's actually angled pretty well to the Petro, I would say, right?
He just angled in, but the Petro
earlier.
had like 2 good broadsides onto him.
Right, and the Hindenburg too with his AP. So we saw a lot of your health melt away. Now, this salvo is the key, because when you fire this salvo off at the Hindenburg, watch his HP. It's at 12k. Now, you're going to keep turning in. And here's where, if you didn't turn in, if you stayed, if you look at the minimap instead, and you look at the minimap at the Hindenburg's position, and you look at the Petro's position, and if you were to draw a straight line between the two of them, put your bow on the Hindenburg, put your stern, or bow on the Petro, stern on the Hindenburg right here, this guy's going to go down with your next salvo. It doesn't matter if it's a full salvo or even one turret. Look at his hit points. 8.7k. He's dead. And there's a mech nearby, there's a Kaba nearby, so I would focus instead on positioning here. You still have 36,500 hit points at this point, at this moment. And watch how quickly your HP is going to vanish because you turned in. Now you're at the 25, you just lost 10k. Petro's going to start hammering you with AP as well. There's a shot. Now you're at 19. Now you're at 13.5. And now you're going to start turning. But look at that. Now you're at 365. That's what got you killed, Rob, because you turned in there and showed broadside to 2 cruisers at once. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think a large part of that was my age brain was like, I don't focus on this guy, I'll forget he exists or something. Or I don't know what my brain was thinking.
Okay. Well, regardless, It was a good replay. It was a good battle for you, and we gave you a lot of feedback. So, thanks for sending that one in. I hope, you know, we all learned some good stuff out of that one, huh?